Cheers, everybody. So I found this beautiful chess study on chess.com in their daily puzzle a couple of days ago. And it's so great. So I thought I had to make a video about it and spread this to more people to be able to see and try to solve this. Because this is not easy. It's white to move and win. The black pawn is going down in the diagram. We are up, as you see, a couple of bishops, but both of them are hanging like this. So we have to play very smart. And as always, there's only one variation that leads to victory. And it's, as I said, not easy. But try to give it a go. Pause the video now and see if you can find the solution, or at least the beginning of the solution, because there's a number of great moves that you have to make in order to win this. So give it a go right now, and when you come back, we'll go through all variations. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. So, well, as said, both our bishops are hanging. So if we just grab a pawn here, black will take one of our bishops. Doesn't matter which one. And now we're stuck with like a bishop and a rook versus a rook. But this is not material enough to win. This is just a draw. So in perfect play, black will be able to hold the draw here. So we have to do something better than this. And of course, as both bishops are hanging, we cannot just move away one of them. We can move this one and get a check at the same time, but we will lose the other bishop. And again, we're stuck with a drawish position. So can we protect one of the bishops? This was my first thought. We can perhaps play rook to d6, protecting our bishop here. And when black takes here, we have the opportunity to get a discovered check. But as we look at this, there's no real threat in the discovered check. Black is not afraid of this. We can move here with a check and then grab this pawn. But again, we end up with a rook and a bishop versus a rook and just a draw. And it doesn't get better to play the rook here to get some other sort of discovered check. Black can still just grab here. He can also play the king to g6 first and attack. Now he's attacking everything. And we cannot get out of this in a winning side. We will just settle for a draw here also. So I don't know which more to show. Yeah, I can show this. This was what I thought first was the right solution, to play bishop f4, allowing black to take here on e6 and then follow up with rook g7. Now we are threatening to get a rook here, force the king up to h6, and then we have discovered check with the rook. But this isn't good enough still. Black has a few options here to really get away with this. The most beautiful is actually to play just d2. Because if we do something like this now, check, check, discovered check, the king comes up to g7, I would guess. We cannot grab here. This pawn will become a queen. And if we, after the check, before we do the discovered check, grabs this one, well, this is still not good enough. Now the rook can be placed in some cool place. We'll say rook to f6. And we don't really have anything here. We have a check. Try to do something like this. But the black king will not be placed on g7 to allow this. Instead, it will play king g6 or g8. And this is not winning. There's a check here. We're going to lose it. Anyway, we are not winning this. So that's not the right way to go either. So I will now tell you the right starting move. Here it comes. Rook to d5. It seems a bit strange. I mean, we think we need a rook in order to win this, but we really don't. Now, it's pretty obvious that black is forced to take here, otherwise he will lose his rook, so he cannot afford that, so he will grab this rook. Thing is, now we're losing the threat on our bishop here, and if we move this bishop somewhere along this diagonal, except for g5 perhaps, then we are threatening a checkmate. So, just to show, if we place the bishop on c1, we are now threatening a checkmate here, and we're also threatening the rook. Just playing the bishop to c1 is not good. Then black will have the opportunity to play d2 and get away from the mate threat, and also threaten our bishop and threaten to promote. So this was just an example. So we couldn't play bishop to c1, but one of these three squares we should put the bishop on to win this. And now is another chance for you to pause the video and figure out where should we put the bishop, f4, e3, or d2 in order to win. Only one of the squares are right. Go ahead and pause the video again right now. Okay, here we go. So let's look at them one by one. I'll start with bishop f4. Now we are threatening a checkmate. As said, we're also threatening to take the rook here. Pushing the pawn, well, it will be a checkmate right away. We're not taking the rook, obviously. Black will do his best to defend by playing the rook to g5. He already took our rook, so he can afford to exchange the rook for a bishop and get out of this alive, or at least save a draw. So, and the idea is, of course, that after rook comes to g5, we play to check here. If the king comes up to h6 like this, we can do a brilliant waiting move here, forcing the black to move. He can move the pawn. We will grab it, and now he's forced to move the king away, and we take the rook, and we win this with two bishops. But this is still not the correct way to go, because let's go back here. After we play the bishop to f7, he will not move the king to h6. Instead, he will put the rook on g6. And now our plan is to still put black in his Zugzwang, forcing him to move the king away from the rook. We cannot do it by playing the bishop to d2, because this is a stalemate. Now black cannot move anything. So our plan is to move our king away to allow the black king to get out. But if we do that, he can come to g4, attacking our bishop. So now we cannot take the rook because he's attacking our bishop, and all this variation is failing due to this. Which takes us back to the not starting move, but the second move. We cannot play bishop f4 due to the black will later on be able to go to g4 and attack it. So we have to move to e3 or d2. And I will show you the wrong one. Bishop d2, which we think could be good, because we're setting up for a Zugzwang later on, but this is not correct. And I will show you why. Because if black now plays the same move, rook to g5, yes, this is winning. For the same reasons, if it goes up here, we will play bishop e8, and black is forced to move away and not protecting his rook anymore. And if he instead plays the rook in between, we now can play king h2, and the black king is forced away, and we win by grabbing the rook. But black has another fantastic defense. After we play bishop d2, black has a great defense, and now is a chance for you to pause the video and find that defense for black to save the draw. Go ahead. Okay, here we go. He will play the beautiful rook to f5. Now he is blocking our bishop to come to f7, and if we grab this rook, what happens then? Well, again, we put black in a stalemate, and this is just a draw, because we are blocking this pawn, and now he cannot do anything, and he will be happy to get away with a draw. Which leads us back to this position again. So we cannot go to f4 or d2, so now we know the bishop has to come to e3. It's the only continuation that will survive. Now black cannot play rook f5 anymore. We can grab it. This is not a stalemate. He can push the pawn. And of course, we are not taking the pawn now. Instead, we're taking a check in between, and then we grab the pawn, and then we win with 2 bishops. And we looked at this, but let's go through this again. If we place rook g5, which is the best defense, get the check. If the king comes up, we play bishop e8. He's now forced to move away the king, or just waste one more move with the pawn before he does so, like this. And if instead he moves the rook in between here, now we can play king h2 and allow the black king to come out. Again, he can make a move in between, but we just grab this pawn, and then the king is forced away. And voila, this is a winning position for white. So, did you enjoy this? I think it's great. Check out chess.com's daily puzzles also. There are great puzzles there every day, so you don't have to follow just my channel. You can look at other puzzles too. I will not be mad. Thank you for watching this. Come back tomorrow. I have something great prepared for you then. Bye bye.